You've been in the race before, so it will not be surprising.
I've said previously that it will not be surprising. I did it as a 45-year-old, as the youngest of the 17 aspirants, so it will be no news if I choose to do it. But the time is not ripe yet. The party hasn't opened nominations. I think any dedicated patriot of our party right now will be concerned about how well we deliver our mandate in this second term. That is what I'm thinking about. And of course, we've done well a bit. There's room for improvement, and we have to be working hard to satisfy the mandate of the Ghanaian people. That's what we should be focusing on. Our energies should be directed at that. When the time comes for people to go and contest for the flag bearership, I think we know how we do it in the MPP. We will all go around there, speak to the delegates. They are the ones who decide who becomes the presidential candidate or not. I don't know why there's such a hurry to do such things.
Well, but let me ask you before I'll come back to MPP politics. But is it that you don't like executive government because you joined President Kufuor's government as spokesperson, and then you left 2 years before? In 2017, you were on the campaign, and then you didn't join the executive government. In 2020, you were back on the campaign. After the campaign, you went back home, and you are not part of the. Is it that you don't like engineering or something? No. But in 2020, you then became the, or were you before? 2017 to 2020 is when you were the president of the Institution of Engineering.
The executive director.
Executive director of the Institution of Engineering. You didn't want to be minister.
Presidential appointments are the prerogative of the president. I don't want to second guess the president on that.
Yeah, but this is a president
who should be allowed the latitude to choose who he sees fit to work.
But he's the president who called you at the 11th hour of the beginning of the 2020 campaign.
That's right.
And then we heard there were discomforts in his house on a Sunday morning when he announced that you were going to be part of the campaign, given the recent history. But he insisted. So this is a president who is your man, really.
Well, I've known the president since the late 80s. People have forgotten. At the time that I lost my dad and he was the president of the Greater Accra Bar, I became close to him because they tried to commemorate the death of my father. And Jerry Rawlings released the CDRs and the cadets to attack the priests. I think it was at Calvary Methodist. And
what we now call Martyrs' Day on 30th June.
On 30th, yeah.
It wasn't easy like that to start?
No. For the first 5 years, it could not be commemorated.
Oh, I see.
In fact, the judges were not part of it. Justice Archer, who was Chief Justice, was scared to even come. It's the lawyers. In fact, it is the lawyers, the Ghana Bar Association. They are the ones who stood up. And I quite remember Peter Alajete, Uncle Samu Kujeto, I think they were even incarcerated for that.
Attempting to celebrate the event of the medal.
It wasn't easy.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't easy.
You mean the same thing we now do Martyrs' Day, which is on the calendar official?
You can go through the history. There was no commemoration in 83, 84, 85. I think it was around 86 that they were able to do it. So it took a lot of courage of the lawyers, the Ghana Bar Association. So if you look at the brochure, it talks about the celebration by the Ghana Bar Association. It's only quite recently that the judges took a part.
Oh, now the CJ leads it.
That's right. And I want to give a lot of credit to especially Justice Akwa. Kingsley Akwa. He was the one who ensured that they were immortalized in front of the High Court with, so it was at that point that the judiciary really could stand up and say we were part of it. It wasn't an easy journey at all.
I see. Okay, so that's how you got to know Akufo ADDO.
Yes, and I of course, my office when I left Highways was Jones Nelson Road, and so that's quite close to the Kojo Thompson Road. So I used to visit him a lot, and I have a lot of my colleagues, young lawyers like Frank Davis, Alex Queno. These were all my colleagues in Infancy Film School. They were junior lawyers.
Even Gatti wasn't.
Gatti was there, and there were seniors there, Farieboa, a lot of people there that I knew. So, I started seeing him. We became very close during the Dubois Hene campaign when he was the campaign manager for.
Akufo ADDO was campaign manager for
Professor Dubois
in '92.
In '92,
the internal contest.
No, for the national contest, he was the campaign manager.
I've not seen that on the CV yet.
Well, he was the campaign manager for
the MPP's 1992 campaign.
He was the campaign manager.
I see.
I see. And I was doing a lot of the party political broadcasts in 1992. So we became quite close. And, in 1998, we became even closer in 1998.
That's when I met you.
That's right. Yeah. When he was making his first entry into the presidential arena. And I virtually led his campaign with Victor Newman,
Newman,
General Nunu Mensah, and there were only 3 parliamentarians from the 67 members of parliament who had the courage to support him at the time.
Oh, it was like that?
Yes, Kranchi, who was Asante Achim South MP, Yao Benin Daku, who was Etiwa MP, that time Etiwa was one constituency, and Christine Churcher.
Oh, Cape Coast.
Cape Coast.
I see.
At the time, because candidate Akufo had just lost in 1996. He was the big figure then. And you know, in Ghana, people like to go with the wind. So it wasn't easy at all. When we were leaving Akufo Addo's house, now President Akufo Addo's house in East Legon, there were only 6 of us, 6, to start that battle. And I can tell you within the following 3-4 weeks, the whole country was awash. Because that was the time we used our reach into the media. Metro had just started, advertising cycle. And then we bought into advertising cycle. And I coined man of vision, man of action.
Oh, that was from you?
That's right. Man of vision, man of action. And it was all over. And before a candidate...
But that was a serious campaign.
That was the first time we launched a campaign, a proper campaign, presidential campaign. And it was at Usu Ebenezer.
The church?
The church. Wow. There's a hall.
Next to the church.
Yes, and I had the privilege of introducing then candidate Nana Addo Akufo Addo there. So I've known him for a long time.
That's a story. That's a story.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't easy to show up against what was the regular candidate.
Of course, you know, in politics, you know, people look at the one who is the big figure. And the national
he was still around, wasn't his support?
No, he had lost.
I know, but he was still around.
He was around, but his powers had diminished.
Oh, really?
You know,
why?
Once he lost in 1996 to Akufo, you know, so...
Who was chairman of the party?
We had a group we called the G15. I don't know whether you've heard it.
Yeah, I think so.
And Dr. Kwame Donkofojo was the one chairing the group. All of us. Myself, Daviama, Courage Kwashiga, Nana Addo, J.H. Mensah. And this was the group.
So these were the Nana Addo's people?
The group
the
that
G15.
I would say the anti-Kufo group.
The anti-Kufo group, yeah, okay.
You know, so that was it. It was very interesting.
Just for a matter of the record, it's not important. Why didn't you people think Kufo should be the leader? Why did you think it should be Akufo Addo?
Me personally, I thought that the way we lost the 96 election, and knowing Rawlings, the type of person he was, from his military background, the dictatorship that he had imposed on the country, I thought Kufo was a bit too gentle. You know, he's known as a gentle giant. Some of us felt that we needed a very tough person to take on. So that's really the motivation. We thought, look, we needed a vibrant, young, at that time Akufo Addo was about 51, 52, vibrant and young, and thought maybe this is the man to take out Rawlings. You know, so that's why a lot of us supported him.
So it was about who can face Rawlings?
Yes, although that was his second term. I mean, defeating the NDC was like defeating Rawlings. You understand? Because he was the figure conducting the elections, the campaigns and everything. And that was really the motivation. And in those days, I mean, when you work with Akufo Addo, you know, he's very good with stagecraft. A lot of my diction and how I learned my politics came from those days. He was brutal on stage when he's delivering. His delivery, his advocacy is something that you could be proud of, you know, at the time.
I see.